Ever wondered why fermented foods like sauerkraut are praised for their health benefits? Well, today we're taking a deep dive into the world of fermentation, a technique as old as time itself, used to preserve foods, enhance their nutritional value, and improve flavor. Fermentation, in essence, is a process where microorganisms, such as bacteria and yeast, convert organic compounds, like sugars, into other compounds, like alcohol or acids. This process not only helps preserve the food, but also creates beneficial enzymes, B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and various strains of probiotics. This ancient technique is found in every culture worldwide, with a wide array of fermented foods from Korean kimchi to German sauerkraut, from Japanese miso to Indian yogurt, and the list goes on. But today, we're zeroing in on sauerkraut, a classic fermented food that's not just a great side dish, but also a powerhouse of nutrition. Originating from Germany, sauerkraut simply means sour cabbage. And it's exactly that, cabbage that has been finely cut and fermented by various lactic acid bacteria. This fermentation process gives sauerkraut its distinctive sour flavor, while also enhancing its nutritional value. Sauerkraut is packed full of probiotics, beneficial bacteria that are incredibly good for your digestive system. It's also rich in fiber, as well as vitamins C and K, and it provides a good dose of minerals like iron and manganese. But the beauty of sauerkraut goes beyond its health benefits. Its tangy flavor can add a new dimension to your meals, making it a fantastic addition to sandwiches, salads, hot dogs, or as a side dish with any meat. So, ready to make some sauerkraut? Now that we know the why, let's explore the how of making sauerkraut. Stay tuned as we delve into the ingredients you'll need and the steps to create this nutritional powerhouse at home. Let's start fermenting. To make sauerkraut, we'll need just a few simple ingredients and tools. First up, fresh cabbage. This humble vegetable is the star of our show. The kind of cabbage you choose can influence the flavor, but any variety will do for our purposes. Then, we'll need non-iodized salt. Salt not only flavors the sauerkraut, but also draws out the water from the cabbage to create the brine in which it ferments. For an optional flavor boost, consider adding caraway seeds. Now, on to the tools. A large mixing bowl will be our initial stage where the magic begins. We'll also need a fermentation jar, or a crock, to serve as the fermentation vessel. To keep our cabbage submerged in the brine, we'll use a clean weight or a smaller jar. Lastly, we'll need a cloth and a rubber band to cover the jar, allowing our sauerkraut to breathe during fermentation. With these at hand, we're ready to start our fermentation journey. First off, let's prepare our main ingredient, the cabbage. This humble vegetable is about to undergo a transformation that's both delicious and health-boosting. To start, we're going to strip away the outer leaves of the cabbage. Set these aside, they'll come in handy later. Now, we're left with the heart of the cabbage, ready to be sliced into thin, delicate strips. Once your cabbage is sliced, transfer it to a large mixing bowl. This is where the magic begins. Sprinkle your salt over the cabbage. To achieve the perfect balance, remember the rule of thumb: 3 tablespoons of salt for every 5 pounds of cabbage. This ratio ensures the cabbage ferments correctly, creating that crave-worthy sauerkraut tang. Next up, we're going to get our hands a little messy. It's time to massage the cabbage. Massaging isn't just a way to bond with your soon-to-be sauerkraut, it's a vital step in the process. As you work the salt into the cabbage, it starts to break down the cell walls, releasing water and creating the brine in which the cabbage will ferment. Give the cabbage a good massage for around 10 minutes until you notice a change. The cabbage will start to soften, releasing a substantial amount of liquid. This is exactly what we're looking for. This brine is the key ingredient that's going to kickstart the fermentation process, turning our humble cabbage into the probiotic powerhouse that is sauerkraut. And there you have it. You've just prepared your cabbage for fermentation. It's a simple process, but one that's crucial to making your own sauerkraut. With your cabbage ready and brining, we're all set to move on to the next stage of our fermentation journey. Great work! You've just prepared your cabbage for fermentation. Now, it's time for the exciting part, the actual fermentation. This is where the magic happens, where we transform simple cabbage into a probiotic-rich powerhouse. So let's dive in. Start by packing your shredded cabbage tightly into your fermentation jar or crock. You'll want to press down on the cabbage with a good amount of force. The goal here is to eliminate any air pockets and ensure the cabbage is well submerged in its own brine. Remember, the brine is the protective barrier that keeps unwanted bacteria away while allowing the beneficial bacteria to do their work. After the cabbage has been packed, pour any remaining brine from your mixing bowl into the jar. You might be surprised at just how much liquid the cabbage has released. This is a good thing. It means you've massaged the cabbage enough to break down its cell walls and release its natural juices. Now, take those outer cabbage leaves you saved earlier and place them on top of the shredded cabbage. These act as a sort of natural barrier, helping to keep the shredded cabbage submerged below the brine. Then, place your weight on top. This could be a clean rock, a smaller jar filled with water, or a commercial fermentation weight. The key here is to make sure no cabbage is exposed to air, as this can lead to mold. Next, cover your jar with a cloth and secure it with a rubber band. This allows your sauerkraut to breathe while keeping out any unwanted bugs or dust. Finally, store your jar in a cool, room temperature spot away from direct sunlight. The fermentation process can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. But remember, the longer it ferments, the tangier your sauerkraut will be. So feel free to taste along the way and stop the fermentation when it's to your liking. And there you have it, the fermentation process in all its glory. It's a simple process, but it's also a waiting game. Patience is key here. In 2 to 4 weeks, you'll have a jar of homemade, probiotic-rich sauerkraut. After a few weeks of waiting, it's finally time to taste your homemade sauerkraut. You've been patient, and now it's time to reap the rewards of your labor. Tasting your sauerkraut is a moment of truth. When you first open the jar, you should be greeted by a pleasant, tangy aroma. But the real test is in the taste. Freshly fermented sauerkraut has a unique flavor profile that's hard to match. It's tangy, with a hint of sourness that is not overpowering. It's like a symphony of taste, where every note is distinct yet harmonious. The texture is another delight. It should be slightly crunchy, providing a satisfying contrast to the softness of cooked dishes you might pair it with. If you used caraway seeds, you'll notice a subtle, earthy undertone that adds a layer of complexity to the sauerkraut's flavor. Remember, this is your creation, and everyone's palate is different. So, don't be afraid to adjust the flavors in future batches until you find your perfect balance. Now, let's talk about storage. Once your sauerkraut has reached your preferred level of fermentation, it's time to slow things down. To do this, you'll need to move your sauerkraut from a room temperature environment to the refrigerator. The cooler temperatures in the fridge will slow down the fermentation process, preserving the sauerkraut at its current state. Your homemade, probiotic-rich sauerkraut can last several months in the refrigerator, but it's so delicious that it might not stick around that long. The beauty of making your own sauerkraut is that you control the flavors and the fermentation, creating a product that's tailored to your taste buds. So there you have it. You've embarked on a journey into fermentation and emerged with a jar of nutritious, delicious sauerkraut. It's been a journey of patience, learning, and most importantly, taste exploration. Congratulations on making your own probiotic-rich sauerkraut. Enjoy the fruits of your patience and labor. Now that you've made your own sauerkraut, let's talk about why it's worth the effort. Homemade sauerkraut is a powerhouse of nutrition. It's rich in probiotics, those beneficial bacteria that support gut health and strengthen your immune system. Sauerkraut is also packed with vitamin C and K, not to mention a good source of fiber. The fermentation process enhances these nutrients, making them more bioavailable, meaning your body can absorb them more easily. And let's not forget the enzymes that aid in digestion, making sauerkraut a great side dish to heavier meals. Beyond its health benefits, homemade sauerkraut has a delightful crunch and tangy flavor that can liven up your dishes. From sandwiches to salads, it adds a unique twist that's hard to resist. With its impressive health benefits and delicious taste, homemade sauerkraut truly is a winning addition to any meal. And there you have it, a simple guide to making your own probiotic-rich sauerkraut at home. Not only is it a fun and rewarding project, but it's also a great step towards eating healthier and supporting your gut health. If you enjoyed this journey into fermentation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more culinary adventures. Until next time, happy fermenting!